Hi, I'm Jacob,
And I'm Jeroen.
and this is Buttons, Clicks, Sticks, or something. We're not really good with names, because we spent I
A
don't know.
good week and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I started, piling up news I wanted to bring to the podcast. That's, the 3rd of December, and then it's what are we gonna call this thing? And, this is what we're gonna call it now. I don't know what will happen in the future.
Not quite. I mean, you did kind of fumble up the name a little bit.
Yeah, I did. And now apparently I did turn off my phone so it wouldn't bother us. And instead I turned on Siri. And that apparently still makes noise, so thanks phone. Ding. My Siri calls me Batman.
My Siri doesn't call me anything. She doesn't love me.
Oh, I just told her call me Batman, and she's like, okay, Batman.
How does she differentiate between you wanting to be called something and you wanting to call someone?
I think because you use me, so please call me Batman.
But that could also be a question of asking, please call Batman for me. It means that as well.
Or someone called Batman me.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay. In any case, this is a podcast mainly about video games because we like it and we like talking about it. So we thought maybe you want to listen? I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. No one really knows. So let's get started. What have you been playing recently?
What have I been playing recently? I've been playing a couple of things. Obviously, I've been playing World of Warcraft because of the new expansion.
Oh, yes.
I rushed to level 100.
Yeah, you were quick. It was only a few days, wasn't it?
Yeah. I did it the no-live way.
Yeah.
Quite enjoyed the leveling process, actually, which is a first. I don't typically like leveling, and I don't like quests, typically, especially in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because they tend to be, go to this spot, here you get 6 quests. These quests are absolutely meaningless. They don't progress any sort of story. They don't,
No, everyone needs these 15 fucking wolves killed.
Exactly. Everyone needs these 10 bear asses. Which, I mean, I understand that you're playing it as a single player game, right? The quest system is essentially just playing single player.
Yeah.
So it's not very accommodating for groups, actually, typically, if we're honest.
No, because they removed all the group quests and things.
Which are horrible.
They weren't very much fun, no.
Which, I mean, they could have just said, we're going to fix this, or try to fix this, but I think that might be a challenge beyond, not just Blizzard, just beyond anyone. I don't think there's a good fix for group quests. So I think it's a good thing that they've removed them.
Yeah, because it's not a problem when the expansion is new, because you'll have 50,000 people just trying to do this one quest. The problem is in a year or two when you're leveling or maybe even just in a couple of months when people aren't in that zone anymore. And it's like, well, I can't find anyone to do this with me, so I'm just not gonna do this quest. So
yeah, exactly.
No, I agree with you. I think they've done a really good job with it.
Yeah, because I honestly feel that, I mean, obviously the concept hasn't changed much. There's still, you go from X location to Y location, and each location has 5, maybe 4, 6, quests that you do for that area, and then you move on to the next area. But I do feel that because of the sort of the story of the game, which I'm going to touch on later, I do feel is a bit flawed in some ways. It does sort of flow more nicely, right? It does feel like you're actually progressing something by doing these quests rather than just doing them for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I just felt like there were fewer of them. If you come to places 3, 4 of them, and they're all kind of unique, there's not that. Of course, there's some grinding because it's an MMO, but just not to the same extent. Anyway.
No, I agree. Yeah. That's definitely true. But yeah, my criticism for the quests is, or not so much the quests, but the sort of story of it is that they've been hyping up this Iron Horde a lot,
Mm-hmm.
And there is surprisingly little Iron Horde in the quests. At the start there is, obviously, because you're not in Tanan Jungle and you get introduced to all these warlords, which is really nice. I really like that.
Yeah, it felt epic.
I felt really well done. And then afterwards, if you're Alliance, you go to Shadowmoon Valley, and
If you're Horde, you go to hell.
you go to the Frostfire Ridge. Same thing,
Yeah,
basically.
basically.
And then you deal with the Shadowmoon orcs, which are part of the Iron Horde, yes, but I don't know, they sort of feel a little bit disconnected from it.
Yeah, because you have the Iron Horde feels a lot more modern. You know, it's this giant war machine with siege engines and rifles and whatnot. And the Shadow Moon feel a lot more, ritualistic.
Which makes sense, because if you like pay attention to the story, it's also that they were more or less forced into the Iron Horde. Like Ner'zhul didn't originally want to join, but he was pressured and eventually buckled and joined the Iron Horde.
Yeah.
And some of his people actually left him and his to form their own Shadowmoon clan.
Yeah, the Exiles.
Which is a faction you can grind as Horde, isn't it?
I don't know, because I haven't actually leveled any Horde characters yet. I've just gone for my Rogue and then got a few more people into Shadow Moon, but I actually don't have any Horde.
No, I mean neither. I also got like a few people into Tanan and beyond. Well, actually, yeah, beyond as well. But I couldn't really be arsed with leveling a second character just yet. But yeah. So you've got the Iron Horde there a little bit, and then you move on to Gorgrond, which is arguably the sort of capital, or not the capital, like the main area of the Iron Horde.
Yeah.
The northern bit of it, because the south and middle is filled with Grons and Gron-like creatures.
But I also feel like, yeah, there might not be a lot of Iron Horde, but that also leaves them a lot of space to do other things in the expansion, being like, the invasion is ramping up. Because if they've gone balls out from the beginning, there'd be nowhere to go from there except, finishing up with Gul'dan, maybe.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that we're going to get Haimor. Haimor is arguably Iron Horde because the Emperor of the
Imperator,
I
believe is his correct title.
Imperator Margok or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some ogre emperor. He was also pressured into the Iron Horde. So we deal with him, and then afterwards we're going to move to the next raid, which is the help me out here, the Black Foundry.
Yeah, it must be.
No, not the Black Foundry.
It's Iron Horde-ish at least. I mean, you can see if you look at the dungeon journal, it's definitely that dark metal with lava behind.
Yeah, it's Thingy. Thing is going to die there.
Black
These
Hand?
names, yeah, Black Hand.
He's Black Hand's Foundry. Is that the name of it? Maybe.
Could very well be. Something Foundry, at least.
Hand Foundry's black. Black
and
Foundry's
Foundry,
hand.
Black Hand.
Something. Are you gonna search for it? We're doing fact checking.
Fact checking. This is high level, high quality journalism that's going on here. Investigative journalism. Yeah, so we kill him there. We kill Black Hand there, and then who of the Iron Horde have we killed? Well,
Ner'zhul.
I
don't know if does Terrangor die?
No, he escapes. Even on heroic, he escapes.
Yeah. You kill Kargath. He's the first boss of Haimor, which was released in LFR this week. We can talk more about that in a little bit. If you haven't finished the campaign in Nagrand, then maybe tune out just for a second. Spoilers. You kill Garrosh.
Yes, Garrosh is dead.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with Gromash.
Black Hand,
Mr. Deadeye.
Yeah.
Kilrock Deadeye.
Yeah. Well, if you want, we can't kind of Gul'dan with it, but he's.
But he was not one of the warlords.
No, he was just dude. Okay, so because we still have the Warsong clan. We have the Shattered Hand was Burning Blade. How about Warlord?
The Warlord, Burning Blade. What's his name?
It's a her.
Is it a her?
Yeah, you fight her during that quest with the Lantrasaur and Nagrand.
Does she die?
No, you meet her again in the campaign quest for Ring of Blood. She jumps out and you fight her and she's like, fuck you, and then hops out again. So she's still alive. So but aren't they like...
But yeah, where I was going to, I understand that they want to keep some of the Iron Horse around, but what they've done instead is add a bunch of new races, notably the Genosar, the Saberons, the Botani, who I don't care about, I won't care about, and yet you are forced to do quite a few sort of quests revolving around these races and what they're up to, and I'm not really even sure what they're up to.
That's true. Well, the Botani are like, they're like protectors, I guess. I mean, they're...
Not really, because they are at war with the Gron, or the Stone Gron, or whatever they are, because they want to make everything stone, and the Botani want to make everything life. So they're kind of perhaps Titan-esque. It's a bit vague.
They have to balance each other out, right. Which is like what that quest up there is all about, being like, well, if one side wins, we're fucked. We need to keep them at a balance in this war, so you kind of need to attack both sides. And sweet.
I just didn't care about them, and then you move to the Spires of Rock after Gorgrond, which
do you? No, you go to Talador.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh right, Talador.
I mean, Talador is very iron. You battle a lot of... And Arakoa, but, it's a lot of Iron Horde with Shatrath and all the stuff up there.
It's a very short zone, I felt.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. I think still, like, the longest zone was, like, Shadow Moon and Nagrand.
Yeah, Nagrand, definitely.
Because in Nagrand, you can't just, conventionally get around. You have to climb and jump and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, Talador was pretty good, because Talador offered a few things, which is the Iron Horde. It offered the
Arakoa.
The introduction to the Arakoa, and then also the introduction to the the Burning Legion side of things.
Right, the demon invasion has begun there.
Yeah.
Attacking Arkindorn.
Exactly. Arkindorn. So Talador was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like... now I've forgotten what I thought about. But... Oh, yeah, No, I forgot. You can go on with Spires of Arak. I'll probably...
So after Talador, which is good, you go to Spires of Arak, which is also good, because it focuses on, the Arakoa, which is a race that we already knew from the Burning Crusade expansion, and you get to see them, how they were before they got all weird.
Because they got some strong lore behind them, with being like, the three gods and one being outcasts and all that. I have a feeling that as soon as they can figure out a female model for the Arakoa, that's going to be the next playable race, and it's going to be just probably like the Pandaren that you're going to pick if you want to be Alliance or if you want to be Horde.
Maybe. I don't think they will do it, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, really, we're going to end this expansion and I forget all about Draenor again for...
Because what's going to happen is that... what is it? Ner'zhul... No, Terran Gorfin is going to be the first DK. Instead of Ner'zhul. Or is Ner'zhul... Ner'zhul will be the first one instead of... Yeah.
Ner'zhul is... Actually, that would be an interesting point, now that you mention it.
Yeah, because I'm imagining that everything is just going to be remade from now on. It's going to be like... Next time is going to be the alternate version of Wrath of the Lich King.
No, maybe. But yeah, because in the original timeline, if we're going to talk about the lore, Ner'zhul became the Lich King and eventually fused with Arthas to become the Lich King in the form that we know.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrangor was the first Death Knight.
Yes.
Which had nothing to do with the Lich King, I should point out. It was Gul'dan who made these without Ner'zhul.
That's some sweet business.
Maybe now they'll do it differently. Maybe Terrangor will be the Lich King. No, I don't think so.
No, that's very good. But okay, so rounding out, then you finish off in Nagrand, and that's that's
Nagrand is bad.
uh,
No. It's a straight up bad. It's their weakest zone, and it's just bad because it's literally filler quest. It's literally we need to offer at least X amount of hours of questing to get to max level. So we're going to make all the boring quests. Like we're going to just pull out all the boring quest concepts and conventions, and we're going to put them in Nagrand. Probably because we didn't have enough time to finish the game.
looks pretty though.
It looks very pretty. I give it that. And there's some good things about it as well, which is
The Talbot riding around mounted combat.
mounted combat.
Pretty fantastic.
It's pretty good. And the what are they called? The Warsong Raiders that ride around over the roads, and if you stay on the road when they're coming, they just trample you.
That's the BCS tip. Don't stand on the road in Nagrand.
Don't stand on the road on Nagrand. Don't AFK on the roads in Nagrand.
That's a bad idea. Okay, so what else did you play? Have you played anything else than this Warlords of Draenor?
I've played a few other things. I've played The Elder Scrolls Online, actually.
Right, you got back into that.
I did.
Got yourself a new subscription.
I did.
Is it still boring?
Well, I always loved the game, right? I loved it from the first moment I played.
Yes, you are entitled to feeling that way about TISO.
I don't really see what you find boring about it, because the questing was, I mean, to explain sort of the difference between these two MMOs is obviously one, the combat is slightly different. It's not entirely different because they still have, a hotbar with abilities.
Yeah.
But you click to swing your sword and shoot your stuff, fireballs and that sort of thing.
Well, I guess for me, it's just I have one MMO that I invest time in, and that's WoW, and I'm probably not gonna change. So for me, playing TISO was like, I don't know, I could just play. It felt, since the MMO hooks of it I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I just was just feeling like I'm playing a bad Skyrim. I could just play Skyrim and get the adventure that I want instead of this.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely.
So it's not really that it's a bad game. It's just not a game for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just that I prefer TESO in many ways to World of Warcraft because the combat is that. I'm not going to say it's better. It's actually worse, but it's more fun. Sometimes the combat can be worse, but more fun because it's slightly more engaging than perfecting my arcane rotation in World of Warcraft, which is just
1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.
Something like that. And it's the spells are pretty, but in TESO you're always moving around. You don't stand still and fight, right? It's like you're always moving around and you have to click to swing your swords, and there's like good sound to it and good feelings of meatiness to it, right? If you swing your sword a certain way and that swing is a killing blow, your enemy will fall in the direction it's being, swung against.
There's a ragdoll action going on.
Well, not really ragdoll, but
it's like physics. Like when they die, they suddenly become this puddle of physics that, move in a direction where you've been hitting them.
Yeah. It feels like very, not visceral. That's not the word. It feels.
It's a hard thing because it feels. I know the Swedish word for it, but it's satisfying. I think
satisfying. Well, and it feels like it's
it has some weight to it.
There's a weight. That's what I'm looking for. The word. There's a weight to it, which I really like. And then there's the questing, which is what I typically don't like about WoW, as I sort of touched upon.
Yeah.
Which I think is great in TESO. Not everything is amazing. There's definitely something interesting going on in TESO, which is that there seem to be a few groups of quest writers, and some of these groups, or maybe there's just two groups, I don't know, there is at least one group that's amazing, that's really good at writing very engaging quests and good dialogue, because everything is voice acted as well, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And then there's a group that's just awful. And I mean like awful. Worse than anything that World of Warcraft has done. And World of Warcraft doesn't really, it's not really...
It doesn't feel like they care too much about what the quests are about. Because people play that game for the PvE content and the PvP content and give very little care to the story, which is that's a little sidebar. One thing that was nice about Draenor was that it felt like they cared about the story at least.
Exactly.
At points.
Which is also something that they probably had to do because people criticized them heavily for the story at first when they first announced this expansion. For obvious reasons.
Right. Yeah, because time travel is cheap.
Bit wonky, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But now it's like interdimensional, isn't it? So it's not that we've traveled back in time, we've just gone to a different dimension.
Well, we've also gone back in time. It's a little bit confusing, but essentially we're in a different version of reality in a slightly different time.
Intergalactic planetary. Perfect.
Exactly.
So, are you going to continue playing Tesso?
There's still not much endgame content, which is what I originally quit over, because you can do dungeons, and the dungeon in Tesso, I find... I mean, even if the combat is technically worse than World of Warcraft, or at least it's less polished, right? It's less polished.
Because it's Elder Scrolls. Combat has never been good.
No, exactly. It's less polished, but it's more fun than World of Warcraft, because they don't make it too easy. It's pretty challenging, and they know how to space trash and bosses really well.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really get bored.
And that's good, because fuck trash.
Yeah, and they've got like very interesting mechanics to their bosses, but because the game is less polished, it's sometimes a bit difficult to navigate these mechanics. But so be it.
Yeah, that's what you get.
That's the only issue. And yeah, they haven't really added anything. The only thing they've added is another questing zone, which, fair enough. I mean, questing is something they do really well, so...
that seems like a smart move.
That seems like a smart move. It's not really a questing zone, though. It's more of an adventure zone.
Ooh.
And then there's the PvP, which is also a main selling point, because I think they originally wanted to make a PvP-focused game, which sounds weird if the combat isn't polished, but their PvP was quite fun when there was lots of people playing it. But there's definitely a shrinkage of the player base.
Yeah, that's usually what happens to new MMOs. It even happened to WoW, which they have made that up now with this expansion. But I'm guessing that's going to drop, when people hit, after the few first months, I imagine.
Yeah, obviously. This is the life cycle now of these games.
Yeah. So, anything else? You're playing a lot of MMOs?
I'm playing a lot of MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
2 more games that I've been playing.
I think I can guess one of them.
There's actually 3 or 5 whatever games. There's a bunch, but two more I'll mention.
Yeah.
One is the new Pokémon game.
The new remake.
Of
Alpha and Ruby.
Alpha and Ruby. Alpha
and Ruby. That I just realized what I said. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this Greek honey rum isn't good for me. But yeah, Alpha and what is it?
It's Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. Close.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I got like one of them right, kinda.
Not really. You combined their names into something new.
Hey, I could work for Pokémon.
True.
The new Pokémon Pizza Man. He'll slice you, Mr. Pepperoni.
They should make a pizza Pokemon. They shouldn't really, but they could.
If there was a pizza Pokemon, then it'd be like plushies formed after the pizza Pokemon, so I could have a pizza plushie in my apartment.
That's true. There's an ice cream Pokemon.
Isn't there like a dishwasher Pokemon?
There's a Pokemon that it's called Rotom.
Yes, which is motor backwards.
Very clever. He can take on the form of several appliances. Yes.
I am really good at naming things backwards. You might have known.
Heard of the Pokemon Ekans and Arbok and Mach?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Let's move on to something more rated PG-7.
The game Pokemon.
Yeah, how is Pokemon? How is this new remake?
I'm starting to notice now that I'm a little bit older that these games are made for children.
Yes.
By the way you're sort of held a little bit, but that's fine. I can get over it because I still think that behind it all, sort of the mechanics of Pokemon battles, I think, are pretty solid. They make up for a very interesting meta game, even if Nintendo themselves aren't very good at maintaining the meta game, because there's obviously Pokemon that are much more powerful than other Pokemon, and these Pokemon would dominate every battle.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be a while until you see like Pokemon patches and things.
They've actually patched the game. They've patched it.
Really?
Ever since X and Y, they've been patching the games.
Have they been doing balance patches?
No. There's a community. You're probably not, because you don't really play Pokemon, do you?
I can look in my shelf. I think the last one I bought was it might have been the Heart Gold, that remake. I think might have been the last Pokemon game. And because I was gonna get into it, I was gonna level him to level 100 of battle, and I was like, I beat the final thingy, and I don't really want to farm anymore.
And you didn't really want to play against other players.
I don't even know how much of an online, like I don't even remember like what the online was in that game. If that was even a 3DS title, I don't even remember. I imagine it's cooler now that you probably have like matchmaking and shit. But...
well, yeah. Ever since X and Y, they've massively updated their online. I mean, X and Y was obviously the previous game, the previous games, I should say, because there's always 2.
Yeah.
Or 3.
Do you think they're gonna make like they always they had red and blue, and then they made yellow, and then they had silver and gold, and they made platinum. Do you think they're gonna have X and Y, and then they're gonna make chromosome?
I don't think they are clever enough to make chromosome. If they were going to make one, it would probably be Pokemon Z or Z.
Yeah, we need to say Z, because if you say Z, well, what's the differentiation between Z and C?
Well, I can quite obviously hear you say something else.
C and C?
C and Z.
Yeah, I think Z is better though.
Okay, well, Pokemon Z, but that doesn't. They didn't make that, so I don't think they're going to make it.
Until they hire me and I'm like, guys, I got the name. We just need to make it. The name, as we've decided, figuring out a name is the most difficult part of anything. Actually making a game behind it.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. You write code like catchpokemon.exe equals true.
Equals true. Yeah. Well, ever since like the X and Y games, they've massively updated a lot of things, which is most notably the models are now in 3D.
Yeah.
It's very nice. And they've added a much easier sort of matchmaking, because you used to have to go to a specific place inside the game, and then you had to connect, and you could find like random people. But now you have this sort of screen in which you have 3 rows, which say friends, acquaintances, and strangers, or passerbys, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
And the passerbys are like people that are, I'm not exactly sure what it's based on, but they're just like other people that are also online. I think they're quite random.
There's not street pass or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
You can use that as well, which is if you use it for like actual ranked matches. But typically what you would just do is just go online, and you can have like a little profile, and you can like say something in it, right? So you would say looking for battles, and then you can mention in which tier you want to play, which is a mostly American European thing. So a lot of Japanese people don't really know about these tiers, but there's a sort of Pokemon playing community online who've made these tiers, which some people don't like and a lot of people do like. And these tiers are basically sort of the weight classes of Pokemon, right? So um,
Oh, okay.
you agree on a weight class between parentheses of Pokemon, and then you battle with those.
Yeah, because there's no like MMR or thing like that to show off how experienced you are or getting matched with people.
There is definitely in the world, but they
Okay.
don't work with the same tier system.
Alright, so then you can be like, here I got my Pikachu, and then some guy's like, I got 6 Mewtwo's, mofo.
Now there's a rule against having 6 of the same Pokemon or two of the same Pokemon. You can only have one of the same Pokemon, but
Bah.
essentially you would find a lot of the same Pokemon within those competitions because there's obviously a set list of Pokemon that are just objectively the best.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so you do find that. But yeah, I've been playing that a bit, and other than it definitely showing that's a children's game, I think it's a worth it remake because Seth, I played the original as well. Was always like one of my favorite Pokemon titles. Not as good as Pokemon Gold and Silver. They were just the best.
Yeah, I really liked them. You could go on a train. And it was dark out, and the lights were on in the windows. It's just very cozy.
And you would find other Pokemon during the day and during the night. It was just a very good game.
Yeah.
And a very big game as well.
Yeah, because you got the entire old zone as well. Was it called Kanto? Yito?
Yeah, Kanto.
Yoto's
the zone where you start, and then
Yeah.
you go to Kanto. Back to Kanto.
Cantonese. And
Do you know why the
why?
game was so big?
I don't know.
It was because they thought it would be the last Pokemon game they would ever make.
Well, whoops.
Oops. Wait, they were wrong.
wonder if Pokemon will ever stop.
I don't think so.
Do kids today play Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is such an odd thought to me, like to have to start off because I've gradually grown to know how many 100 Pokemon there may be, right?
Yeah.
Over years' time, so I've had like time to learn them slowly. But imagine being a 10-year-old now and having to learn all X 100 of them.
Imagine people now starting to play Pokemon, and Pokemon has existed for longer than they have. So like, oh, Pokemon Blue, that was before I even was born.
That's baffling.
That's very baffling. Okay, so the remakes are good.
The remakes are good. They're sort of like an improved version of X and Y with, a bit of nostalgia mixed in. And I mean, Pokemon games are always good because if you like Pokemon games, if you like one Pokemon game, you'll like them more because they're not too different from one another, obviously.
Yeah, exactly, they're all the same.
I do like one thing about them, especially, is that they have made the main villains make slightly more sense. Because in the original, you've got two teams, right? You've got one team in Sapphire and one team in Ruby. They both appear in both games, but like one is sort of the main villain in each game, which are Team Aqua in Sapphire and Team Magma in Ruby. And Team Aqua wants to essentially drown the world.
Yeah, because they want their water Pokemon to be super duper.
Yes, but they've changed that now to wanting to flood the world just to kill the humans so that they can start over in a more peaceful way, right? They essentially want to do what God wanted. And I can't speak for what Team Magma wants, but I'm imagining they would want to do pretty much the same thing, but scorch the earth through volcanic explosions and then start over in a more peaceful way.
We just want to make explosions, man.
We just want to make explosions.
But you had one more game.
One more game. Which, can you guess what it is?
It's probably Crusader Kings.
I've been playing that as well, but I wasn't going to mention it because...
That's just a constant.
This is a constant, and they haven't changed anything recently.
No, they haven't. Is it Europa Universalis 4 then?
I've also played that.
Damn it.
But other than like the change in patch 1.9, which we'll talk about later, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't do much interesting there. The one I wanted to talk about, because we're not going to discuss it much later, is The Sims 4.
Oh, you got them back into some simming.
Into some simming. Yeah.
Is
The
that
thing
what you?
is,
Is that why you played The Sims 3 today? Like, I need a good Sims game.
was wow, wow. No, I was playing Sims 4 today.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a few updates in the past few months, and there's one coming out next week, which I find interesting because it's obviously an EA game, and EA is known to be, or has the reputation of being, you know, money grabbers who release games too early, who pressure their creative, staff to rush games just so that they can get them out on time.
They had much. They were very unfortunate last year of being like, well, The Sim City doesn't really work, and neither does Battlefield. Basically, EA suffered through last year what Ubisoft has suffered through
This year. Yes, exactly. But and obviously The Sims 4 also got criticized because there's also that infamous list of 80 things that were in The Sims 3 that are not in The Sims 4.
Yeah.
2 things of which were toddlers and pools, which among all the things that are missing, I don't actually think were the most important ones, but they were definitely missing. And they've added pools back
Yeah.
to the game for free, which is interesting.
Now we just need toddlers, and then we want to add the toddlers to the pool so we can have a bachelor party. Okay.
No, I don't want toddlers because toddlers are annoying.
Yeah, they aren't the greatest.
They're not the greatest. They actually have done 2 updates then. So they've done the first one, which added ghosts and just in general, ghosts in general, and playable ghosts to the game, and a few cosmetic things, I believe, as well. Yeah, actually, they added Star Wars outfits, Star Wars costumes, which is I don't really care about, but okay, it's nice that they're there.
Probably and then, someone will buy them and have fun with them.
No, they don't have to buy them; they're free.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's even better.
Yeah, they added free content, man. Yeah, added free content.
Well, I just thought there's something Star Wars, but then that's pretty good advertising.
Yeah.
Also, though, I like to play my Sims a little bit more realistically, and that would mean that I would be walking around in Star Wars clothes. Not every day being like, I really am Han Solo. Like, no.
Maybe if they had like Halloween as a festival to the game, then you could wear those costumes.
Yep, or just be naked, like in regular Halloween.
Yeah, if you're female.
No, I do it too.
That's very progressive of you. Very gender equality.
I just don't go outside.
Oh, but do you answer the door naked? Because I think that might be an offense.
No one really comes to my door, so it doesn't really matter.
Is Halloween even a thing there?
Of going to someone's door?
Well, just in general, is Halloween a thing in Sweden?
Not very much. They try extremely hard to make it a thing, but it doesn't really work. Because, one, it's dark out, it's really dark, it's usually cold, and people don't really... I saw a few trick-or-treaters this year. I almost hit them with my car, because it's so dark out, they're not wearing any, reflectors or anything. And basically it's a danger. But no, it's not very big, because we have a similar thing, but for Easter.
For Easter?
For Easter, yeah. So you go around and you give Easter cards to people, and you get candy in return. Which is, is the kind way of saying, here's something for you, and we get something fun in return. Whilst Halloween is just fucking extortion. Give me the candy or I'm gonna break something. Well, here, have some whiskey.
Have some whiskey. That's probably also an offense.
Probably.
We also got something similar, but I don't even know the date of it. It's called Saint Martin or Saint Martin.
On Easter or just?
I think it's somewhere in the fall, but I'm not quite sure. I'd have to investigative journalist. That's a new verb. Investigate journalist.
Yep.
It up.
Journalist size. Because we celebrate mostly like All Saints Day. So you go, light some candles on graves and things.
Yeah. It's also we also have All Saints Day. No, this is on the 11th of November.
Mm-hmm. That's a month ago exactly.
A month ago exactly, which is not celebrated in all of the Netherlands, but there's quite a few places in the Netherlands where they do it. It mostly, I think it's mostly Catholic. I'm not really sure. It's pretty similar to Halloween in many regards, because you make a, what do you call it, like a lampion.
No idea.
Okay, I'm going to investigate journalists a bit more.
We'll have to make a rule so that we can do no fact checking.
We can't do any fact checking.
We just have to stand for what we're saying.
Here they call it a Chinese lantern, but I think lantern is...
Oh, do you know? Is it the one, light and then it goes up into the sky? It kind of floats away. Okay. Because we had those and they say don't do it because they kind of like burn forever and then drop down into forest and start forest fires. And we're like, okay, we're not gonna...
No. What it is like a stick, right?
I know what a stick is.
A stick, and then you have like a bit of string, preferably non-burning, and then you hang a Chinese lantern, so like a paper lantern on the end of it, right? And you put you decorate that lantern and you put like a candle in it.
Yep.
And then you go with a group of children who all have these lanterns, and they go past doors and then they sing a song to the people, where essentially they're trick-or-treating, right? They sing a song and then they get candy, which is supposed to go into the lantern, which obviously can't do if it's
on
lit.
Fire, yeah.
Yeah, so they quite often don't have lit lanterns and just...
Goddamn kids. Slacking off.
Or they have an extra bag in which they can do. This is like a fire hazard to have children carry around open fire.
It sounds like a fun hazard.
Fun hazard.
Terrible news today struck as 15 kids were set on fire by their own lanterns.
It would be quite something, but I don't think that's very fun.
Their ear-deafening screams were only mildewed by the beautiful lights illuminating the night sky.
As the children were burning to death?
God, you're horrible. Okay, so was that all you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing a few other games, but they're not worth mentioning. No. Actually, I would hate to say that Crusader Kings 2 is not worth mentioning, because Crusader Kings 2 is a way of life, it's a religion that everybody should follow. But for now, I will leave it alone.
I think we're probably gonna be talking about that game at length in other episodes, and even maybe this episode, because it's a game that we both play quite a lot.
And quite enjoy.
Though I hate it, but I love it.
Exactly, which is the best kind of game, right? You have to hate it and love it. So, Jacob, what have you been playing?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, because I've been playing Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs? That's a bit late.
It is. I can't even remember when it was released. It was like earlier this year sometime, I think. Or maybe. Yeah. I don't think it was last year. No. It was. I think it was supposed to be, but it was postponed. Or maybe it was just everyone was talking about it last year because it was the only next-gen game that people were like... I think it was the first next-gen game. Like, look at this, look at the rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game is competent. It looks good, but it's not that fun. Like, it is... You do very much the same thing throughout it. It's like you have the same mission structure. You go to a place, you hack something, the hacking might or might not go wrong, and then you kill everyone or escape. And that's kind of how it's structured throughout it all.
Yeah.
And the story is, hackers and your niece got killed and you're trying to find whoever did it and revenge and shit. And in the beginning, I liked it, and then the more I played it, the more I was like, this is, I kind of want to be done now. and I didn't very much care for the combat because you meet a lot of enemies, you have a lot of guns, but you can't take really very many hits. And then you have these like elite soldiers who's like all dressed in what looks like plate armor, who take like 50 shotgun shots to the head before they die, and they can kill you in seconds. And I was literally screaming at this game during a boss fight, because checkpointing in this game might be the worst checkpointing I've seen all year. Because
So is that the only way you save by checkpoint?
You can also force it by going to sleep in like one of your hideouts throughout the city. Okay. But yeah, so I died a couple of times because you meet one of these, big enforcer dudes who kill you in a couple of shots in a very cramped space. So, running around and trying to avoid them is really difficult. Or if it's like, one mistake and you were dead, basically.
Yeah.
So if you died, you had to rewatch, or not rewatch, because it was just the boss talking to you through a PA system whilst you were running around. You just had to listen to that every time you died, and that was like a few minutes of just standing. And I got not very happy with this.
I can imagine. I've not played the game.
Mm-hmm.
All I've heard is that it's quite repetitive.
Yeah, and I would say that. I didn't do much of the open world stuff because it just didn't feel like it. I came to one like convoy mission where it was like, oh no, you can't kill these people. You have to run out and knock them out. Like, I'm driving a big car and there's like 15 people shooting at me with AKs, and you want me to run up to them and beat them with my baton. No, not gonna do it. But one thing, it looks really good. When that game rains, it just looks fantastic. But
you were playing it on PC, right?
yes.
So you did not hack between parentheses, I don't really think it's considered hacking. You did not alter the game so that it wouldn't be capped on its graphical.
Ooh, right, they did that little thing. I didn't do any. I put the game in, I installed, I added it to Uplay, I downloaded it, and then I played it. That's all I did with it.
Because that's another sort of, instance of Ubisoft getting into trouble with the fans.
Yeah, trying to cap games here. But that, Ubisoft is not the first. They won't be the last. It's been going on since, a long time of being like, you can't make the games look too good on PC because that will make our console versions look really bad. So.
And they prefer consoles because there's less piracy on them.
Yeah, well, and also it's what people have. You buy a console because that lasts you like 7 years, whilst the PC you might need to upgrade now and again. And I won't say it's difficult to use, but it's more difficult than picking up a console and plugging it into the wall.
I suppose it is. I do wonder because I have no idea about, and we're not allowed to fact check anymore, is that how we?
But I think what the problem it causes is like, because you've always looked to, because you could really notice it at the end of, or in like, I guess in the end or in the middle of the last console cycle, of PC games not looking better than console games. Because they developed for the 360 first and foremost, because that just, everyone had one. So making games primarily like tailor-made for that console, making sure that was the best version, that's what would make you money. But then I think the game because that was when the console started getting old, the developers were like, we can't do this anymore. That's when they started making better-looking PC games, and I think Saints Row 3 was one of those like, okay, this game is just technically shit tons of better on the PC. 60 frames per second, looking good, all that. And I think it is probably bad in the long run to cap things, because you need the PC to be this flagship, being like, this is what things can look like, and consoles need to follow that.
But yeah, the thing was, there was a I'm not sure how reliable this is, and I'm not allowed to fact check, but there was a quote from a high up at Ubisoft, which basically said that they didn't give a shit about their PC consumers as much because they are all pirates anyway, we're not making as much money on PC. I don't. I'm also. I would like to like sort of.
You're
compare
paraphrasing now, but
I am
still,
paraphrasing
yes.
him. He did call him like he did call all PC games pirate scum or something, right? He did use quite strong language. I'm not sure if it was like a direct quote from him or if that was him paraphrased as well.
Yeah, like a third hand, fourth hand. Like, who
Exactly.
said this? But it might be like,
Exactly.
oh, damn it. People
But
have seen
I
our
would
game.
I would like to compare. I would like to see sort of stats on how much Ubisoft sells on PC, how much Ubisoft games are pirated on PC, how much they sell on console, how much consoles are selling actually, because I have no idea. I've not been keeping up.
I haven't seen stats either. I think they're doing pretty well, both of them, actually. Yeah, because I'm the thing I've seen was a while back on Twitter by Mr. Cliff Blazinski, developer of Jackrabbit, Unreal Tournament, and Gears of War.
Jackrabbit.
Ah, yeah, that was good.
Oh my god, I missed that game.
Let's hope for a remake.
We should play that game sometime
Sure.
on Twitch, because it did have like multiplayer. It was wow.
That was good. But yeah, he said basically that it was frightening or something along those lines to see like stats of how many games you sold and how many games have been activated on, a console or something.
Yeah.
That, they probably not just pirating, but then you see like, when people buy used games and all things like that. I imagine that if they made money on every copy that they sold, we would not be seeing annual releases of games. Because they'd probably they're already making good money, but they'd make even better money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine, like, yeah, you gotta go where the money is. And I think, thanks to Steam, pirating isn't as insane anymore.
Well, I think it's still pretty rampant, and I think that
but not as much.
maybe not, but the sort of the AAA companies, which are EA, Activision, and Ubisoft.
They're the big publishers, at least.
They're the big, yeah. You know what I mean.
Yep.
They don't release on Steam, or not as much.
Activision does.
Activision does, but EA sometimes does, and
EA decided to cut out the middleman. It's like, we can just sell this ourselves. And does some really weird thing, or Ubisoft does a really weird thing where you buy it through Steam, you launch it through Steam, but the launcher in Steam launches Uplay, where you launch it again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind it. I don't really mind Origin. I think, it works well. They've done good with it. The only annoying thing is, having two pieces of software. Uplay feels even worse because you launch it through Steam. So it's like, I don't know why this is here.
It's their own DRM, which they've already sort of taken a step back from, which is a good thing because their DRM. I don't agree with the existence of you having to be always online for especially a single player game. I think that's bad practice. I understand their perspective, but I don't think that's where you would want, because that's like punishing your paying customers more than you are punishing pirates, because pirates don't have that.
Well, I'm also thinking, like, how often aren't you online? I mean, you're probably online being angry about it.
Yeah, I'm always online. It's not the point. I just don't think that I should be required to be online to play it.
Well, it's as long as it's something that's up front when you buy it, like, you're going to be online all the time to play this, what you're getting into.
You have to be online. You can't play it if your internet doesn't work.
Yeah. If people know that and then they still buy it, that's...
Yeah, true. But
if they patch it in later, that's not good.
No, obviously not. But I have not bought a game. I did buy the latest SimCity game because I kind of wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed by it. And that also had that DRM at first. They've actually removed that now.
Well, they also just forced online play, didn't, so people could just randomly join and ruin your city without...
No, you could switch it off.
Okay. Because now I know you can... I know you can now, because they removed all that online stuff.
Mm-hmm. But I have refused to buy games because they had, like, Ubisoft's DRM.
Well, that's good. Because far too many people are like, oh god, they're doing this bad thing, and then just buy everything. I'm like, you're not really exposing the fact. Like, if you don't like something, don't buy it.
Yeah, decide with your wallet.
Yeah. Because that's going to hurt them way more than you writing something like blog posts and be like, oh god, guys, I'm so angry. It's like, okay, well, we got millions of dollars, so you can be angry all you want.
Yeah, so one thing they've done is Ubisoft actually said that they didn't want to do that as much anymore. So they do the sort of typical thing of releasing a game and then having a day one patch that is required with some sort of quality of life things. A notable example is Far Cry 4, which didn't have an FOV slider if you didn't do the day one patch.
And FOV slider is something that I don't really check the FOV slider.
TB would kill you.
He would, but I imagine we're both stocky men, so we'd probably just get tired after like a minute of running, and then we'd take a break.
At McDonald's. Oh, he doesn't like McDonald's, does he?
What? If he doesn't like you, Tons?
McDonald's.
Oh, maybe. Do you say that he does like McDonald's, or he doesn't like McDonald's?
I think he doesn't like McDonald's.
He probably doesn't. I like McDonald's.
Exactly.
Well, he's also in America. I have a feeling that seems where people are the angriest about it. People are in Sweden too, but they're kind of like, you're stupid. It's all good. But yeah, that's Watch Dogs.
What else did you play?
Just yesterday, I started playing Far Cry 4. And I was going to play it more, but I jumped in and there were like some flickering tree stuff going on with like the foliage of the trees just flickering and looking weird. So I was like, oh, okay, how do I fix this? Oh, I download new drivers from Nvidia, that will fix it, perfect. And right about this time, my ISP is having some major problem with their DNS.
Yeah. So
basically nothing loads. Internet is just dead. I can't get the new drivers down. So I went to sit in the sofa and watch like Brooklyn Nine-Nine for 3 hours. Come back, internet works, I play a few more minutes. And Far Cry 4 seems like it reminds me a lot of Far Cry 3. Yeah. And that is a good thing. Because Far Cry 3 was a very good game. You have collectibles, you climb towers in the Ubisoft way of, climbing towers and revealing things on the map. Which happens in Watch Dogs.
And Assassin's Creed.
Which was the first in Assassin's Creed climbing, towers. And has since been the Ubisoft staple.
Yeah.
And then... Yeah, you're in Kurat this time around.
Which is a non-existent region of India.
Yep, and there's some civil war going on. I believe the main bad guy, they call him Pagan Min, which I don't like. I'd rather his name be pronounced Pagan. Because I think just feel it's weird to have your first name being Pagan.
I think he calls himself Pagan as well.
Who?
Pagan Min.
Yeah, he calls himself Pagan.
Yeah.
But I just wanted it to be called Pagan. Pagan Min. Pagan Min, I think, sounds more realistic than calling yourself Pagan.
Maybe we should start a petition.
Yep, I'll get right on that. In any case, he murdered I think he murdered the last member of the royal family and kind of took the throne by himself. And now he kind of prints. It's really funny because he prints money of himself. So,
Yeah.
So the inflation is insane. I think like the first wad of cash you pick up is like 15,000 karate bucks. I think to refill your ammo is like 30,000. To buy a gun is like 40. So they've kind of represented like inflation in a funny way. But yeah, so I didn't really play that much because I got it in a few hours, and then my brother came home and he was like, "Do you want to play Dota?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can play some Dota." So I liberated an outpost. I did a few hostage rescue missions, which are new to this series. Of like you have to kill all the guards, and you have to kind of be sneaky about it because if you get detected, then they'll start killing hostages.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you kill them all, and then you free the hostages, and for every surviving hostage, you get like some bonus money and loot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You didn't encounter too many bugs then, because that's another game that has gotten Ubisoft on a bad list with the players.
I don't think like any game has gone very well. They've had, Assassin's Creed Unity. Oh well, Watch Dogs was kind of, but that was not really. I can't remember if that was buggy or just that people, were underwhelmed a little bit.
I think people just underwhelmed. I think it was buggy.
Then you had Unity. That was the big one, where heads disappearing and just being eyes left.
and teeth, which is really creepy.
Yeah, those photos, I don't like them.
They're very creepy.
They give nightmares.
But that's not the only bugs. There's also bugs that prevented you from playing, such as falling through the ground, being stuck in hay carts after you've jumped down one of the towers to reveal a area.
Yeah, seems comfortable.
Not being able to go past the main menu.
That seems something that you'd probably want to be fixed.
Yes, and then they did a patch, right, to fix some of these issues, and which got Ubisoft on even more of a shit list with the players, because that also included changes to a microtransaction shop.
Ooh, microtransactions. That's
a
what
fix to it or something. I'm not entirely sure, and we're not allowed to fact check because that's our new rule. It was like a fix or opening a microtransaction shop that did not, that patch did not fix some of these game-breaking issues. It did not fix the hay card issue. It did not fix some people being stuck on the main menu.
But gave them instead new options to spend money on the game.
Yeah, which pissed off some players.
Yeah, I can imagine that kind of rubs them the wrong way of being like, hey, can't play, but you can buy this sweet Ezio hat.
You still can't be a female, though.
No, of course not. Oh, my idea of being, silent with my phone doesn't really work, because now I dropped it instead.
Yeah, you should just not touch it, maybe.
It fell out of my pocket. Uh-oh. Did it get dirty? But yeah, and Far Cry 4... But that Far Cry 4 was just, that was really specific. Some people had just no problem with it at all.
Yeah.
I have not run into anything. It's been stuttering a little bit, but that might just be my fault for, running it at too high a setting.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we also had The Crew, which still seems a bit... It was one of those games, that media wasn't allowed to touch before it came out, because they said, it builds so much on the multiplayer, so playing it with some developers, this little closed circuit of reviewers, will give the wrong, experience.
Yeah.
But it seems that when they got released, the service didn't work, so the experience was that everyone was stuck on loading screens instead.
Instantly enough, there's a commercial for The Crew on my browser right now.
Ooh. I'm looking at Skype, where there's a ad for the Surface Pro 3.
Okay.
And they tell me to click it. I'm not going to click it.
That's also a really bad sign if they don't allow reviewers to review the game before they release it.
Yeah, it's usually quite a bad sign, yes. But yeah, so I'll probably have more to say about Far Cry 4 in the future, because I haven't played much yet. But so far, I'm liking it. Seems like a good Far Cry game. I got hunted by a bunch of little fox thingies, and it felt kind of wrong grabbing my AK and just going full auto, you're slaughtering animals left and right. But yeah, that's what Far Cry does, and then you skin them and make them into a wallet.
It's fair. It's fair. It's just fair. If they attack you first, it's on them.
Yeah. You can throw bait in that game. It's really funny. You throw a piece of food, and then a bear comes running and just eats.
Kill it.
Yeah. Well, it kills everyone close to it. Then you're like, oh shit, maybe these 3 soldier dudes weren't as dangerous as this fucking bear.
You did say bacon, right?
Bait.
Oh, bait. I thought you said bacon.
I wouldn't throw away bacon.
I was thinking, what the hell? Why would you eat the bacon?
I would just cut off a small slice, and then you wrap up the rest of the bacon. You put it in your freezer so you can have it in the future, and then you cook it and maybe put it on a burger or add some pasta or something.
Yeah, pasta's alright, but on a burger, no thanks.
All right, you don't like bacon on hamburgers.
I don't like bacon on any other meat. I just like my bacon...
Free.
I like it with eggs. I like it with a pancake. It's lovely in a pancake.
That is good.
I like it in my pasta. I just don't want bacon wrapped around any other meat.
You don't want double the meat.
No.
Um, that was not what I meant at all. So
That was okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never gotten the bacon hysteria that some people have, being like, I gotta have bacon and everything. I'm just gonna shove bacon down my throat. Like, no,
Bacon is pretty nice, but
it's a spice more than anything. It's not like I'm gonna make a dinner with bacon being the main ingredient. Like maybe pork of some variety of being like, not like bacon but a bit thicker.
bacon is a spice on Pinterest.
Why did you Google that?
I was wondering if like people,
Share my thoughts.
yeah, if there are more people who are, you know, into this philosophy of bacon being a spice. There's more things like spiced bacon and stuff rather than people saying that bacon is a spice. But okay, I agree with you. Bacon is a spice.
Yeah. That's why if you use it with another meat, you need to make sure that the bacon is just there for flavor and not really for context or like being taking up equal space as the other meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
No.
Except, I could talk about Dota 2, where we met a guy who, his big insult to me, because he thought I was an American, it was, eat a burger. I was like, yeah, sure, dude. No problem, I've had like 2.
I'm very sure that you were very polite to him.
I started nothing, but we may have played single draft, and I got Phantom Assassin. This guy was also the one who said, oh, you managed to kill me when stunned? Super skill. Tech me. Yes, he didn't say teach, he said tech.
Tech me.
Tech me. And the entire team screamed at him for saying tech, and that was fun.
Okay.
But yeah, let's move on to some news of the world. Some of these...
News of the world? That sounds like you're going to talk about... I mean, first of all, that's a TV show, isn't it? News of the World. Then News of the World was a company which produces newspapers.
It's also a Queen album.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I should know this.
It's with the freaky album art. I believe Family Guy made the funsies of it, which is rare. But yeah, some of these news are kind of old, because I started, like we said earlier about not finding out a name, means some of these news are collected a few weeks ago. But the first and biggest piece of news, the most important one, is that popular adult entertainment site YouPorn sponsors esports teams. So now they have teams, because I believe they have divisions in Hearthstone, League of Legends, and Dota 2.
It's a surprise to me. It's like news to me that Hearthstone has a esports team.
It was like many Blizzard games, or Blizzard titles after Brood War and after WoW, I guess, that were kind of like born into esports. So StarCraft 2 was a game kind of designed to be an esport because they knew how Brood War had gone.
Yeah, obviously.
And then, Blizzard had a lot of their fan base, tied up with StarCraft 2 and their commentators. So a lot of the keys for Hearthstone and shit, that came out to these, esport people in StarCraft 2. So that just kind of, went really quickly from being like, Hearthstone, a nice card game, to being like, we're going to have tournaments.
Yeah, because I always thought that the idea of Hearthstone was more of a sort of casual... thing to do for when WoW servers were down.
Yeah, and I felt that way too, because I felt it was a really good Magic clone, because it got me that exact same way as Magic did, of being pissed off, or feeling that you got cheated by your cards, that the other person uses a bullshit deck of OP cards and luck.
Exactly. So yeah, YouPorn is supporting esport teams.
Yeah, they bought the Spanish esport team Play to Win.
Yeah.
And they will call themselves Team YP, because I don't think it would fly very well to be like, hey, we're Team YouPorn. So
but that's obviously what it stands for.
Yeah, like everyone knows it.
Yeah.
They also, they were playing Hearthstone and League of Legends.
My only question is though,
how will they find another sponsor?
how do I find out sponsor? No, but like if you're YouPorn, you obviously have a lot of money. You can support an esports team, fine.
Yeah.
But you can't really advertise yourself because you can't, like you said, you can't put YouPorn on their shirt. Like, you have to put Team YP on it, and people know that stands for YouPorn. But you kind of want to indoctrinate them with your logo, you know.
Yeah, being like, this is... So I imagine, it is still... Maybe people, they watch a Dota game and then they're like, I probably should go masturbate, and they go to YouPorn.
Maybe.
Or maybe these esport people will get to be featured in some of the pornography.
Okay, I don't think that's going to happen.
Clicking the mouse.
I'm not sure if YouPorn actually produces porn, if they just, like, publish it. Or...
A porn aggregator?
I think that's more, yeah.
That's a very fancy term.
I think that whoever owns YouPorn, or who started it, which is interesting, actually.
That's a very big right arm.
Well,
or left.
I don't think that's...
Or both, if you're ambidextrous.
I don't think that's the case. Okay. I think that they might just be a bunch of nerds who really like esports.
I think it is because esports is an absolute... It's still, even though it's getting bigger, it's still a super cheap and effective way to advertise. Because esports fans are usually very dedicated. So if you are smart with it, you can get a lot of exposure to people who are very dedicated for very little money. Like, I think it's probably cheaper to sponsor a esports team than it is to get, like, magazine advertising. And you'll get a lot more people watching a stream of, like, my company than probably someone reading the magazine.
Yeah, that's probably true. It'd be interesting to actually look into it, like, who owns YouPorn, who are these people, why did they decide to sponsor an esports team?
They have some quotes in this article. Let's see. We're so psyched to finally make our official entry into gaming and esports, says Brad Burns, the vice president of YouPorn. This partnership has been a long time coming, and I believe that with our backing, along with the expertise that each member of Team YP brings to the table on the virtual battlefield, we can succeed in tearing through the competition at this year's Gamergy event.
Every word spoken by a vice president of a large
porn aggregator.
Porn aggregator.
Yes.
Sounds wrong. You can't say coming. You can't say
tearing.
You can't say.
For some reason, you can't say tearing. So don't think too much about it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the biggest piece of news.
They've got a few esport teams with credible players.
I don't know any of these players.
We're going to say that they're credible.
Okay. I look forward to seeing them play. We'll see if they only play like the busty and muscular sex idol heroes of both genders.
I wonder what their logo will be on StarCraft 2 if they ever branch out.
Probably Protoss, because if you play Protoss, you're a dick.
Not race. I meant their what are they called? Decals on their bases. You know what I'm talking about?
I have a few suggestions. And I think that means we're going to move on to the second piece of news.
Okay.
Which is that there's a new patch for EU4, which I only learned today that it was released. Because when I wrote this, it was still in development, and a stream by Paradox had just happened.
Yeah, and since then there's been another stream, and the day after that stream it was released.
Yes. So the big thing in that one seems to be the disaster system.
Yes and no.
Really? What would you say the other big thing then, or other big things?
Well, let's touch on the disaster system first. For people that have played EU4, they'll know that there are a few things which are not very transparent, which are the disasters, which are
rebels.
Not just rebels. They're specific rebels, like the Peasants' War.
Oh yeah, and liberals and religious zealous uprisings and whatnot.
These are not just rebels. It's not completely separate from the rebel system, obviously, but they're not just rebels. They're big things, and they've added more of them.
Oh right, because the Peasant War is several events of doing decisions of being like, do you want to maybe give some dividends to the farmers, or do you want to say fuck you to all of them, and you pick one, and the Farmers' War might continue or come to a close.
Exactly. And now you've got the disaster system, which essentially just shows you which disasters loom for your country, because it makes the conditions for these disasters to happen transparent. It tells you these are the conditions under which this will happen to your country, and if it, God forbid, it will happen to your country, then it also shows you the conditions you need to meet to end the disaster,
Yeah.
which is massively needed because as it was before this patch, you had to go to the wiki of the game to look up how to end, how to get rid of the situation, which is not a good thing. You know, a game should.
It should be, yeah, it should. This is a big thing. It's important. It should tell you
It
what
should
it's
say
about.
this kind of fits into what we sometimes talk about, which is that Crusader Kings 2 is less of a game than EU4, even though they're both quite similar.
Yeah.
It also sort of plays into it because in EU4 you typically strive to play for the best, right? You want to achieve the maximum that's possible with the country that you're playing as. And in CK2 you are most of like there for the ride in a sense.
Yeah, you every county can become very big. You don't really have that much of a constraint other than if you can start snowballing, then you're done basically. They've done a few things to balance it out with vassal limitations and things like that, but I haven't played enough to really see.
Yeah, but it's if it's not your goal. I mean, you can play the game
Well, yeah, the
once,
game
conquer
is.
the world, but then you don't want to do it again because it's not.
Well, you see, you have if you want, if we're going to decide what a game is about, it should be avoiding the game over. And
Yeah.
avoiding the game over in CK2 is, making sure you always have an heir, so keeping your dynasty alive and having land. So,
Yes.
or being a count and above. That's all you need to continue surviving. In EU4, it's just about having land.
Yeah.
If you have one piece of land that's still your country, you can keep on playing. If you get eaten up, then it'll be like game over, but you can keep on playing as the thing that conquered you, I think.
Yeah, there's options like that.
Yeah.
It's just that EU4 is more meant almost as a true competition between you and the computer, right? You want to achieve the maximum possible thing with your country, which is the maximum size, the maximum wealth, something along those lines. Whereas in CK2, you're just there to sort of obviously make your dynasty powerful, but at the same time, a lot of fun of that game comes from the sort of randomness, the sort of stories that start to emerge while playing, such as
The ecumenical patriarchy becoming a merchant republic.
something like that. And that's why it's more important, I feel, in EU4 that they give complete transparency, because it's literally about playing the game. Right? Like in CK2, it's sometimes fun to mess up or to just
Like,
uh,
oh shit, all these peasants destroyed my land. Oh well, at least I'm still alive.
that's not as fun. But you know what I mean, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's fun to just have your land split between your brothers so that you can kill your brothers and have.
Yeah, that gives you more of that is the difficulty of it, because when you get to primo and you basically have a lot of stability, you're just like, well, I'm unkillable.
Yeah. Whereas in that's also not entirely what I mean. It's just more fun to limit yourself in CK2 than it is in EU4. Like in EU4, you don't limit yourself. You limit yourself by picking a hard country to play, but you don't limit yourself by saying I'm not going to expand further than the region of current day France, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
You
no, no. You just need to keep on going until you stop, because you need to survive. And if you're not one of the big ones, you're at risk. If you are Great Britain, for example, you're done. But if you can get even more, like go colonizing, you will. You're not gonna stop and be like, nah, I'm good.
exactly, and that's
Yeah,
because it's more of a game. It's more of a sort of challenge to sort of attain a high score, and then the high score in this case is defined as the largest you can get with a certain start position, right?
yeah,
Like let's say you start like a small nation in India and you manage to conquer all of China or something like that, and then that's your high score with that country, that specific starting country. And in CK2, it's just you dare to make fun stories,
Yeah.
basically.
But yeah, so it's good that they make these things more transparent because you need to focus
Yeah.
more on the game. So what were some of the other things? Because the only thing I thought was like, oh, trade vessels merge now, which is amazing.
Which is really nice. There's a few, I think, a few minor things made to countries to add like a little bit more flavor, but they're not that many.
Yeah, those the dynamic history something.
Yeah, dynamic history events, which are events that you can get as certain countries if certain conditions are met.
Mm-hmm. Make it a bit more fleshed out and flavorful. It's just good.
Yeah, it is very good. And another big thing, one, like the last thing that comes to mind is that they've changed same continent colonization, because
oh right, yeah, they nerfed Russia basically.
No, that was the previous patch. Now they
I think they nerfed it even more because I mean they used colonizing to push out Easters very much. If that's start costing them things.
No. What they've done is they've reverted back from what nerfed Russia in 1.9. What happened was that if you colonized on the same continent, then those provinces you colonized would always have 50% autonomy, which meant that you could only get 50% of the taxes, 50% of the manpower.
Oh yeah, 50% of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and now they've made it so that it's not, but you have to pay like the admin points, like a small amount of admin points to core your newly colonized provinces.
Yeah, like half price, I think, or something. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap. But it's still more than what it was before any of these patches, where it was just free land. So if you started colonizing, that was a snowballing of Russia.
Yeah.
That was just the end. Yeah. So that's patch 1.9. I can't wait to try it out because I've been feeling the itch to play more CK2 and EU4. So I might try another Sweden game where I start in the earliest in CK2 and play to the end of EU4.
EU4. There's a new achievement for Sweden.
Right, that was the what's it like have
Lion of the North.
All right. Yeah. Oh yeah. You need to win the Catholic League as a Protestant.
Yeah, you have to win against the Catholic League as a Protestant. You have to basically win the equivalent of the 30 Years' War.
Yeah.
As Sweden.
As Protestant Sweden.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We spoke earlier of Ubisoft, and now I think it was this week or last week. Assassin's Creed, a new one was leaked for next year, which seems to take place in Victorian London.
It's very interesting. It does indeed, because there was a screenshot, right, from...
Yeah, from like something that looked very much like
Victorian London.
Yes.
It's interesting because obviously Assassin's Creed Unity is a absolute mess.
Yeah, that's gonna take some fixing before it's...
I mean, I think it's fixed quite a bit now. I mean, they've done a lot to fix it, but yeah, that was a total mess. And now they are releasing, or they've already listed the release for next year, which is pretty fast.
Well, it was leaked. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be. I mean, of course they have they have different studios working on these games, so it's not like they Unity doesn't work, let's go make a new one. This game has probably been in development for 2 years or something, and then this wasn't supposed to leak right now. So in event with Unity being broken, it looks very bad, but it's just there's another one coming, and maybe hopefully it's a bit different, because I think Assassin's Creed does need it needs a reboot. It can't continue doing climb towers, assassinate things.
No, that was like Blank Flag, right? That was the good thing about it. It had something new, something fresh.
Yeah, I still haven't played that. I look forward to it. People have been saying good things about it.
Only about the naval battles, though. Typically, I mean, the people I've heard speak about it, they are not overly fun, because it's still, when you're on land, you're still doing Assassin's Creed. You're still doing the exact same thing you've done in all the other Assassin's Creed games. It's the naval battles that are new.
Well, there are more of them. There were naval battles in Assassin's Creed. In Assassin's Creed 3.
But they've improved upon it.
Yeah. I still look forward to playing that game when I have the time and I remember to.
There's an Assassin's Creed movie coming out.
Yay, I do like video game movies.
In 2015? I think as well. I'm not entirely sure if it's 2015, but I think it's in 2015.
We'll meet up and watch it, and then we'll discuss it on the podcast, because this is not going away.
Also, World of Warcraft movie, but I'm not sure if that's in 2015.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully,
we'll see them both, and then we'll comment on them.
Yep. Valve are adding broadcasting on Steam, so they're basically adding their own Twitch. And it's not linked to Twitch. Yeah, it's just, you right-click on a friend name or something in Steam, and you can click Watch Game, and you'll be watching someone play.
Yeah.
Seems kind of cool. I mean, Steam, if they have the backing of Valve, I imagine it being cool. I don't think it'll be a competitor to Twitch. It's just going to be oh, look, my new friend has bought a new game, and you can go in and watch it and be like, this game looks cool, I'm going to buy it. I think that's exactly what this broadcasting is going to be about.
It's kind of like Big Brother.
Yeah, but you need to be broadcasting for someone to watch you.
Yeah, true.
They're watching.
They're watching you play video games.
Do
we know anything more about it? Do we know when it's coming?
It's out now. But you and the person who broadcasts need to be in the Steam beta. You can sign up for it now. I don't know where, but if you look around enough, it's probably pretty easy to find.
Okay.
There's also a new Street Fighter coming, Street Fighter 5, which is a PS4 and PC exclusive. They're not allowing it onto the Xbox One.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do we feel? Have you played Street Fighter 4?
No, I can't. I wanted to, but I haven't. I want to get a fighting stick, and it's been difficult to find one. And when I've found one, I've been like, should I really invest money in this? Because I don't really have anyone to play fighting games with, and I'm not super good at them. So yeah. I haven't played much 4. I played some Mortal Kombat. That's what I played.
Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they. I think it is because Sony stepped in and basically, funded Street Fighter 5. So that's what they say. We're not gonna, pay for a game to be released on the Xbox.
On the enemy's console.
Yeah, on this enemy thing. So I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be for PS4. I don't know. If we can hook up a fight stick to my PC, then I would just play it there. But I might just
not get it.
Yeah, or get it when I get a PS4. But right now, I don't really feel like playing age-old indie games that I can just play on my PC. So now the PS4 isn't really on like the top of my list of things I need.
Now, to be honest, if I was going to buy a console and I'm not, then I would probably buy a Wii U because.
Yeah, they have the most exclusives. I mean, you're gonna get those are the games that are not gonna get released on PC.
That you definitely know, and also some of the exclusive that they've said are exclusive for either piece.
I think Bayonetta 2 is like a contender for Game of the Year for many people. And
that's very interesting.
That's a really weird Nintendo Wii. That's a really weird Wii
Nintendo
U
exclusive. Just doesn't really matter what console. I mean, it's a weird franchise for Nintendo.
Yeah, definitely. And because Bayonetta wasn't on Wii, that was the 360 and PS3 game.
You also get Bayonetta 1 for free if you buy Bayonetta 2.
Yeah. It's still really weird. Because that does not feel like a Nintendo game at all.
It's very interesting. Nintendo had a good year this year, didn't they?
Which one? What do you
this year.
This year? Nintendo?
Yeah, they never have good years.
I think they've probably done well, because they've and this is in a year where they haven't, had a Zelda game, or did they?
They did. Hyrule Warriors.
I don't think I'll call that a Zelda game. I think that's something different entirely. It's Dynasty Warriors, and it doesn't look fun.
Well, I mean, you have to like Dynasty Warriors if if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah, definitely. My mindless gaming comes from like, wow, can usually be quite mindless. Or I go and play like Dota 2 bot matches and just farm for an hour.
Yeah,
that's a good way to just not think about anything.
But yeah, and Nintendo had a good year. They had obviously had like a few big releases. Smash Brothers.
Yeah, Smash Brothers came out. They had a Mario Party, I think. They had the Mario Kart. Or
Mario
maybe not.
Kart. Mario Kart increased their Wii U sales by 330% briefly,
Jesus.
which is massive.
I still think the truth is that the first Mario Kart you play is gonna be the one you like the most, which is why I liked the Super Nintendo one the most, because that was the first one I played, and I liked it a lot. I thought the spooky house was spooky.
I liked all the ones I've played. I really like Mario Kart. It's also interesting that they've added Link as a DLC to Mario Kart.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be karting. He's supposed to save
both
Princess
things.
Zelda.
Yeah. It's both things are interesting. That it's the first time that they've added someone who is not from the Mario franchise to a Mario Kart, and DLC. Nintendo doing DLC.
Yeah, that's also weird.
Yeah.
Because they are like 5 years behind on all the internet things. So now they're like microtransactions. Give the kids a credit card. Yep. So that happened. And another thing that happened was the Game Awards 2014, which is like a continuation of the VGAs, and I think they were called like the Spike TV VGAs. It's still what's his name? Geoff Knightley.
Yeah.
Jeff Keighley, I think is his name. It's his thing. They said that the game of the year was Dragon Age Inquisition. That's from Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I haven't played Dragon Age Inquisition. I really want to. I have friends who've been just saying that the game is amazing, and God, I can't wait to play it.
I think I probably won't play it.
You haven't liked any of the Dragon Ages, have you?
No, I mean my issue with the Dragon Age, they're good games. Don't get me wrong. It's just that they're not exactly for me because I feel a bit constrained within them. If that makes sense.
Okay, I think in Dragon Age Inquisition they've taken a lot of cues from games like Skyrim and stuff. So I think there's a lot more exploration.
It's not exploration that I really want. I just don't want to be stuck with these other characters. I don't care about them.
Oh, you want to be alone?
Yeah.
I can see that. But I like having ladies around. Because video game ladies like me.
I mean, it's still funny, though, the romancing scenes that you can unlock.
I love the drama that comes with everyone. They're like, it's sexist, rape. And it's like, no, nothing like that. Have you even played the game? I remember the Mass Effect sex scene that got like reported for being, a rape scene. It's like, you can't have played this because I did this, and there's definitely nothing like that. Because you could pick like a renegade choice, of being like more rough and being like, let's do it. So, thanks, internet weirdos.
So what do we think of this list? Because there's 5 games on them.
I have played two of them, which is Hearthstone and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, and I wouldn't really say that any of them is the game of the year. So I think probably Dragon Age Inquisition is probably a...
Of this 5,
yeah,
I would agree. But I don't think that it's a strange list, because there have been better releases this year, haven't there?
Well, all of these kind of have the same... Like you have... this is one I haven't been playing, but it's the best independent game, and Shovel Knight got that one. I really want to play Shovel Knight. Another one of those on that list is Transistor, which I also wouldn't say is like the best this year.
No, Transistor. I still haven't played it because I did watch people play it, and I was like, this looks okay, but I want you to make Bastion 2.
Yeah, I wanted. I mean, I guess I'm glad that they didn't make Bastion 2 because that means we won't be oversaturated. But I'd really like them to return to that action formula because I didn't feel the combat in Transistor being as fun. It was really pretty. I barely remember the story though, it might be my fault.
Yeah. The story was like the one thing that was very interesting to me because I mean, obviously it was quite generic, but I like generic stories because then I can sort of fill it in with my own mind,
Yeah.
And the ending of it sort of it's quite an open ending, right?
It's not very... The ending to Transistor?
No, to Bastion, not to Transistor. I haven't played that game, I don't know.
Good, because I was just about to spoil the ending of Transistor to you.
I really don't care.
Okay. Well, we won't, because then maybe someone who wants to play it needs to skip over. We're not gonna spoil the ending of Transistor. Yeah, because you go away on your block.
New sort of airship thing.
Yeah, well, there's definitely room to make more.
Yeah.
Some other interesting things. Trey
Best-
Parker won Best
Yeah.
Performance, which he beats out Troy Baker and all of these.
Well, I don't really think he was that strong as Talion.
I don't know.
Big
Well,
people.
Troy Baker is everywhere. I think it's because Trey Parker just is really good, and Troy Baker as Talion, he kind of still sounds like Troy Baker. It's one of these. It's one of these things because it's the same with Nolan North, who made the voice of or Desmond in Assassin's Creed, of Nathan Drake in Uncharted. That voice became famous, so they used that for everything. But then you go to a game like Dota 2 and listen to the range that guy has. He makes the voice for Ogre Magi, both of them. Good on. That's him. That's the guy who makes Nathan Drake. Which, I think Troy Baker is probably just as talented. It's just he gets to do his one voice, the one that everyone knows.
Also, I don't think Talion was a good character. I mean, if you can't show any personality in it, because Talion has a personality of a cardboard cutout.
Yep.
I
want to save my wife, but she's dead, and oh god, I'm angry. Kill.
I kind of feel that he is just on this list because of his name.
Probably.
Because he's famous. Another thing that I just had as a thought. What is the voice actor of Jaina Proudmore called again? She's definitely in everything as well.
Oh, I can't remember what her name is, but it's I think it's something on J. Well, I can hear you fact checking. While you do that, I'm going to move on and say the best remaster was the Grand Theft Auto 5, which made me strange. Wasn't that out this year? And no, it wasn't. It was autumn of last year. I don't really have anything. Middle Earth won Best Action Adventure. Super Smash Bros. Won. I'm pretty glad that Super Smash Bros. Won Best Fighting Game, because one of the games on that list is Ultra Street Fighter 4, and you can't. No, that shouldn't just. That's an expansion more than anything.
It's interesting that all these other games are quite not that well known.
No. Well, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, I kind of want to play that. Kinda. Mario Kart 8 won the Bose Sports/Racing Game.
Like we said, good year for Nintendo.
Yeah. Best Shooter, Far Cry 4. Beats out Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which I've heard is good. Beat Destiny, which I didn't really like. Beat out Titanfall, which I liked. And Wolfenstein The New Order, which I really, really want to play. Not surprising, the best role-playing game was Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
Best family game was Mario Kart 8.
Of course.
Weird. This is the one that I really disagree with. That the best online experience was Destiny. Because it's a terrible online experience. You're three people where one of them usually abandons you. Unless the online experience is because you dance with everyone in the capital city, that's kind of the best thing about it. Because then you're just out in the world running around. It doesn't feel very alive at all. I think a game if you're talking online experience, you could just say Hearthstone because it's a good game. Titanfall because it's a good game. Or you could just, add... Since we're adding expansions to this one, you could just add Wall of the Trainer and say this is a great game.
Yeah.
Hearthstone won the best mobile/handheld game.
That's slightly unfair.
Yes, it is. But it's also probably true because it's on iPad and people... And it is a very good game.
It's a good game.
Developer of the Year is Nintendo.
Very interesting, because Nintendo has had a very rough time. Before this year, they had a very rough time.
Yeah, they've not, the Wii U hasn't been selling well. The 3DS, they had to, make massive price cuts to make anyone buy it.
Yeah.
And, now it's there. Now they seem to be making their comeback, and I'm glad, because more games on my 3DS means more fun times.
I like Nintendo to do well, because Nintendo's just, has a special place in my heart.
I think it's a special place in many people's hearts, just because of those first, I think a lot of people, at least in our generation, grew up with, Super Nintendos.
Yep.
And that's always going to be like a special first gaming experience.
And like the old Game Boys and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my earliest gaming experiences.
Games for Change seems like that's Valiant Hearts: The Great War. That's a World War One like platformer / puzzle game, I think.
It's also part. It's a pretty informative game. It's like a sort of a teaching aid.
Yeah.
Almost.
Because World War One is one of those games that don't really translate well into a shooter, because you're going to be sitting in a trench, and it's also difficult because there's not as much of a bad guy in World War Two. Oh, I mean, in World War One, there's not as much of a bad guy as in World War Two, where you definitely have the Nazis. That could have sounded very good. Like, there's no bad guy in World War Two. I think everyone's just friendly. Nothing bad happened.
Franco, Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, they're nice guys.
They're nice people, No, because you in World War Two, in contrast, you have a very clear bad guy of being like, well, it's probably guys in the black trench coats and evil hats.
Which also exists in the Germans in Valiant Hearts: The Great War, but
they're not fighting to exterminate an entire people.
No. What you have is like you have like sort of main evil guy is a German, but you also have you've not played the game, have you?
Nope.
Well, essentially, you've got like this family in the a region of France, which was conquered by. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was conquered by them during a previous war between Germany and France. So there's like a lot of like German and French people living there, and the story is about like several people, but among them, this German man who's married to a French lady who has a son with her, in France, near the border of Germany, and then he gets called back to Germany to join the German army, and the father of the French lady gets called to join the French military.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah, and then you like don't you follow it, but like letters from each of them or something.
Yeah.
It seems cool. I'll probably try it out someday. That's a Ubisoft game, as far as I remember.
It is.
Seems to be released without problem. The most anticipated game is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I am looking forward to that game a lot.
Agree.
I need to buy a new graphics card to make that game run at its fullest, I think.
Probably.
Industry icon was Roberta and Ken Williams, which did all the like King Quest and stuff. Like they kind of invented the point-and-click genre with Sierra Online. So I think this was just a call out to them, being like, "Hey, you're pretty cool." The esports player of the year is apparently Matt Nadeshot Haag, who plays Call of Duty.
Haag.
Do you think it's Haag?
I'm going to Google him.
Yeah, if he's Dutch or American.
Yeah, because if he's Dutch, then I'm.
This is Matt
Haag. I'm. Let's see. Matthew Nadeshot Haag is an American competitive Call of Duty professional.
So it's Haag. Yes.
He's probably originally. He's not Dutch, but his.
There were Dutch colonizers who came there and had sex many times, and eventually it ended up with him being born.
Exactly.
Somewhere down the line. I know genealogy. Esports team of the year is Ninjas in Pyjamas, which is a Swedish Counter-Strike team, and we're of course very proud of them. They make like McDonald's here have made like more and more esports burger, and there was like a Mac Nip that they got to design.
That's really cool.
And we had like a Mac Heaton and I think something like that.
It's interesting to see as well that there's not a single StarCraft team on this.
Yeah. Well, it's Evil Genius Dota 2 squad. Well, that's because Evil Genius has been winning a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Newbie won the international.
Yeah.
So they won, $10 million split. No, again, $5 million split between them. So they all got 1 point something million each, I believe.
Yeah.
League of Legends, I don't give a crap about. So I bet they probably won something and had a good time.
I think so.
I just realized the best fan creation, best Zelda rap ever didn't win. Some Twitch play Pokemon was fun, but best Zelda rap ever is,
I sort of agree with this because Twitch-based Pokemon, I mean, besides setting a disgusting trend, was a very interesting social experiment to me.
It was because they managed to do it in the end as well.
Did I mention it in the end? And it sort of sparked this creativity in people where they created all this sort of fan art and all this sort of stories and whatever about the seeming just the chaos that it was. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely, but still, best Zelda rap ever is a good song.
It is a very good song. For people that haven't heard it, they should definitely check it out.
Yeah, just type into your browser of choice or into YouTube best Zelda rap ever and click the one video made by Eager Raptor. It's dangerous to go alone.
Take this.
Which is actually the, official name of the song.
It's dangerous to go alone.
It's dangerous to go alone is the name of the song. The best Zelda rap ever is just the title of the YouTube video. Yes, because I've been listening to the Starbomb album many times because I quite like their songs.
They're good songs.
There are good songs. Okay, so there's one more piece of news we have to get through today, and that's that Twitch buys the Good Game Agency.
What does that mean?
What does this mean? Good Game Agency is the owner of esports teams such as Evil Geniuses and Alliance.
Yeah.
So they got bought by Twitch, who in turn is owned by Amazon. So this means that this company that got started by one dude in like 2004 is now a subsidiary of Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
It's just really cool for esports because this means, that the higher ups are looking and being like, hey, esports is a thing and it's probably going to stick around. So they're willing to invest money in saying like, hey, we like what you're doing. Here, have some more money and do cool things, and you can, support our brand and things. We want to be part of this. And I just think that's really, really cool.
I do wonder though, because who makes the decisions at Twitch? Because I don't think it's Amazon people.
No, I'm pretty sure that they get to do this, because Amazon, they have things like IMDb. They have a lot of things spread out. And I think, if you're smart about something, then you buy a company and be like, you've been doing pretty well for yourselves.
Yeah.
So we'd rather you do well for yourselves under us. So keep on doing what you're doing. We give some extra money and, we get some of the money you make. Because I think that's probably what they want. Because, why would you could go into another and be like, well, you've probably screwed up this company. We're going to buy you out of it and we're going to fix it. Which has not been the case because Twitch has been doing really well. The Good Game Agency has been doing really well. What they did was pretty cool because, they got bought. They got bought out. This money that Amazon paid for it, they split that up between everyone. Everyone employed by the Good Game Agency got some money from the sale.
That's cool.
And they got like an iPad and a good big dinner or lunch or something. Which is, I think, it seems like a really cool company. And I'm glad that they have it because maybe this makes people open their eyes more than just Amazon being like, hey, this is probably a cool thing. And that means maybe we can make esports more legitimate.
More mainstream.
And more stable. Because if you have the backing of Amazon, you're probably not going to have a bankrupt team. You're going to have a team that makes money. And stays alive. Because a lot of problems I feel like it's like you have these teams of very ambitious young people who have absolutely no idea how to make money, or a corrupt older manager who gets these kids, he gets a sponsorship deal, they play in a few tournaments and win, and then he just makes off with all the money.
Yeah.
So having this one is just, I think it's very good for the players, and I think if this starts some kind of reaction, I think it would be mainly positive.
I think it'll be not even slow going. I think it'll be just steady going. I think more and more, Because there's also, they have broadcast esports on television in certain places.
I think, aside from Korea, I
Yeah.
think Sweden may have been one of the first where state television showed StarCraft and still shows StarCraft from from DreamHack. And on commercial channels, we've had
ESPN.
ESPN showed on ESPN3, but they showed international. We showed the international on one of our main channels, and we also shown like League of Legends and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
But it's a start. It's a start.
It's growing, definitely. ESPN, it was fun though to see like the reaction of old people on Twitter being like, "What the fuck is this? Video games? Them nerds put together." It's like, well, we had one. I've messed with one of them on Twitter because he was like, "I am high culture," and being like making sarcastic comments on some.
If you're high culture, you do not use Twitter.
No, basically no. So I just made him like, "Oh, hey, do you want to go sniff butts together? And maybe some nice bloody art. Poop in a soup can." And then I blocked him. Because that's how Swedes fight. We don't. If we meet someone that we want to say an insult to, we don't say it to their face. We pass them, and then we say this comment so we can kind of run. Have a free way of
What happened to your Viking days, man?
We lost against Russia, and we were kind of like, well, we're just gonna go attack Norway one last time, and that didn't go well either, and then we kind of like stopped.
For shame.
For shame. All we have now is SUVs and like gender-free gingerbread people.
Where's Sky originally from? That's from. I was thinking that's from Sweden, but it isn't. It's from Latvia or something.
What?
Latvia.
Skyrici? Skype, yeah, that's Swedish.
Is it Swedish?
Mm-hmm. It's a Swedish company. It was founded by a Swede and a Danish person. It was then sold to Yahoo for a lot of money, and then sold to Microsoft for even more money.
Yeah.
Sweden, we made Skype, Spotify, IKEA, Koenigsegg.
I don't know what that last one is.
It's like luxury cars.
Oh.
It's the insane car.
I heard of it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the last piece of news. I don't know how much else we've been talking for quite some time. I think we've been talking for like
way too long.
Almost nearing 2 hours. If you
That's
made
not
it,
good,
what?
Because we haven't. It's not like our Skype call was longer than.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's still below 2 hours because I think we started like 30 minutes in or something of this.
Yeah.
But let's hope that someone has managed to listen all the way to this point, because I think this is a good time to wrap it up.
I totally agree.
You're going on vacation now, aren't you?
Not now.
Well, on the 16th.
The 17th.
17th, and you're back.
The 31st.
Damn. We probably should have done a Game of the Year thing, but neither of us played too many contemporary games.
Well, we could always do one like in 6 days and then release it later and just pretend like we recorded it later.
Sneaky. Yeah.
No one will have to know.
That's true. We could make like an early Christmas episode.
Yeah.
And otherwise we'll be back after the new year. If you want to ask us some questions, the address is, if I remember it, because I just made this like
1.5 hours ago.
Probably, yeah. It is. Oh, Tumblr, why don't you work? I just want to see my site. If I click posts? No? If I click customize? I think it's BGS. No, it's not. It's What would we call? bcscast.tumblr.com/ask. You can be anonymous, and you can ask us anything, and that will kind of be this segment that we're skipping out on today. We'll probably be more efficient in the future.
Probably. It's just trying out things.
Yeah. We're new to this, and we hope that we've given you something enjoyable at least.
If only it is white noise to you doing your dailies in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's usually how I use podcasts. It's my friend, and they're usually so long, so you can use them.
Turn them on. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. But yeah. We'll either see you in a few days or we'll see you next month. But if we don't see you again this year, then have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Or
Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate.
happy drinking a lot.
And eating a lot.
I like eating a lot. I need to go take a hamburger out of the freezer because that's what I'm having for dinner.
I'm having broccoli soup.
That sounds delicious. I want broccoli soup.
Well, come on over.
I'll be there in 3 hours.
Should be doable.
Hey, not impossible.
Exactly. Oh, anywho, let's wrap up.
Yep. Take care, everyone. We'll see you at another time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.